Hello everyone, welcome back to the new session of Biology, Standard 11, Chapter 15, Excretion and Osmoregulation. Last time we studied about excretory organs, osmoregulation. In osmoregulation, we studied about osmoconformers, osmoregulators, euryhaline and stenohaline organisms. Then we studied about excretory organs present in different animals. And then we studied the details of excretory system in human beings. Today we will start with LS of kidney. Before starting the longitudinal section or the details of longitudinal sections of kidney, first we'll study the details of all the layers, outermost layers which are present on kidney as covering. Each kidney is externally covered by 3 layers of tissues. The outermost layer is called renal fascia. It is made up of thin layer of fibrous connective tissue. It anchors or holds the kidney to abdominal wall as well as surrounding tissue. Middle layer is made up of fatty tissue called adipose capsule. It protects kidneys by shock absorption. Innermost layer is called a renal capsule. It is a smooth, transparent, fibrous membrane that is continuous with outer layer of ureters. It acts as barrier against spread of infections in kidneys. Now let's start with LS of kidney. LS of kidney shows two distinct regions, that is renal cortex and renal medulla. Cortex is outer or peripheral red-colored and granular region, whereas medulla is inner region with pale red color and striated appearance. Medulla consists of loop of Henle and collecting duct, whereas cortex contains Malpighian bodies, convoluted tubules and blood vessels. Together it constitutes medullary pyramids or renal pyramids. They are all arranged in cortical manner. Cortex extends in medulla as columns of Bertini or renal columns between pyramids. There are several pyramids present in a kidney. Narrow tip of pyramid is called as renal papilla. Renal papilla opens into minor calyx. Minor calyces unite together to form major calyx. Major calyces unite together to form a renal pelvis. Renal pelvis is funnel-shaped area and it continues as ureter which leaves kidney through hilus. Structure of nephron. Nephrons are the structural and functional unit of kidney. Each kidney consists of near about 1 million nephrons. Each nephron consists of 4 to 6 centimeter long thin walled tube that is called renal tubule, and a bunch of capillaries called glomerulus. Now let us study the details of nephron. Nephrons are divided into two parts. One is Malpighian body or a renal corpuscle, and second one is a renal tubule. Malpighian body or renal capsule is near about 200 micrometer in diameter, whereas renal tubule is the proximal end which is connected to Malpighian body. That proximal end is wide and blind, whereas the distal end of renal tubule is open, and this tubule is 4 to 6 centimeter long. Now this Malpighian body or renal capsule consists of two parts. First one is glomerulus, which is nothing but a bunch of capillaries or a tuft of capillaries, or you can say the network of capillaries. Second part is Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule is a cup-shaped structure into which glomerulus is present. Then coming towards a renal tubule. Renal tubule consists of first part that is called neck, which is in continuation with Bowman's capsule. This neck then proceeds into PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. Convoluted means twisted and tubule means tube-like structure. It is the proximal part which is highly coiled or convoluted, and it is tube-like, so it is called proximal convoluted tubule. This PCT then continues into loop of Henle. This loop of Henle is connected to DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule. It is a distal end, it is highly coiled and it is tube-like. That's why it is called distal convoluted tubule. And this DCT is connected to a short straight tubule called as collecting tubule. Now, the collecting tubule of many nephron opens together in a common duct that is called collecting duct, that we'll see in detail further. So these are the total parts present in each nephron: Malpighian body and renal tubule. Malpighian body consists of glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule is in continuation with renal tubule and connected to PCT through neck. PCT then continues into loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is connected to DCT. DCT is connected to collecting tubule. Now let's see each part of nephron. Nephron consists of arteries which carry blood inside it and veins which removes blood from it. Now these arteries are divided to form small branches. These branches are called arterioles. These arterioles then forms afferent arteriole which has larger diameter. This afferent arteriole forms network of capillary called glomerulus. This glomerulus forms afferent arteriole. From afferent arteriole, now here these capillaries forms a network around nephron, and this network of capillaries is called peritubular capillaries. Now you can see a cup-shaped structure. This is called Bowman's capsule. Inside this, glomerulus is present. Together it forms Malpighian corpuscle. Now this Malpighian corpuscle is connected to renal tubule. The first part here you can see is PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, which extends into descending limb of loop of Henle. Ascending limb of loop of Henle, which is connected to DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, which is connected to collecting duct through collecting tubules. Glomerulus is a bunch of fine blood capillaries. It lies in cup-shaped Bowman's capsule. A branch of renal artery called afferent arteriole enters the cup-shaped structure and forms network of several capillaries called glomerulus. Capillary wall is fenestrated, or you can say porous. All capillaries reunite to form an afferent arteriole that leaves the cup-shaped cavity. Diameter of afferent arteriole is greater than afferent arteriole. It creates high hydrostatic pressure in glomerulus, and it is important for ultrafiltration. Bowman's capsule is a cup-shaped structure. It consists of double walls. Both walls are composed of squamous epithelium. Outer wall is called parietal wall, whereas inner wall is called visceral wall. There is a space in between these two walls called capsular space or urinary space. Visceral wall consists of special type of squamous cells called podocytes. These podocytes are in close contact with the wall of capillaries of glomerulus. There are small slits in between adjacent podocytes called filtration slits. Parietal wall consists of simple squamous epithelial cells. It is thin and continues into neck. The wall of neck is made up of ciliated epithelium. Lumen of neck is called urinary pole. Neck leads to PCT. PCT, or proximal convoluted tubule, is highly coiled part of nephron. It is lined by cuboidal cells with brush border called microvilli. It is surrounded by peritubular capillaries. It helps in selective reabsorption. Due to convolutions, filtrate flows slowly and remains in the PCT for longer duration. Due to this, maximum amount of useful substances are reabsorbed by blood. Loop of Henle is a U-shaped tube consisting of two limbs, that is, descending limb and ascending limb. Descending limb is thin-walled and permeable to water. It is lined with simple squamous epithelium, whereas ascending limb is thick-walled and impermeable to water. It is lined with simple cuboidal epithelium. Loop of Henle is surrounded by capillaries called vasa recta. Its function is to operate counter-current system. Counter-current system is a mechanism for osmoregulation. We already studied about osmoregulation, that is, regulation of salt and water balance in the body. Ascending limb of loop of Henle leads to DCT, that is, distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule is another coiled part of nephron. Its wall consists of simple cuboidal epithelium. It performs tubular secretion or active secretion, in which wastes are taken up from surrounding capillaries and secreted into passing urine. It helps in water reabsorption and regulation of pH of body fluids. Collecting tubule. It is a short, straight part of DCT. Collecting tubule reabsorbs water and secretes protons. Collecting tubule opens into collecting duct. Types of nephrons. There are two types of nephrons in human kidney. They are cortical nephron and juxtamedullary nephron. There are two types of nephrons found in kidney. They are cortical nephron and juxtamedullary nephron. Cortical nephrons have shorter loop of Henle which extend very little in medulla. Most of the nephrons are cortical nephrons. Few nephrons have longer loop of Henle that runs deep into medulla. These are called juxtamedullary nephrons. Nephrons are richly supplied with blood. About 1/4 of cardiac output is supplied to kidney. Functions of nephron. They are responsible for elimination of waste products and they help in osmoregulation. Blood supplied to kidney. Let's see this flow chart in order to understand the blood supply to kidney. Renal artery collects the blood from heart. It passes blood to the divisions of artery, that is called a renal arteriole, which enters inside the kidney. Now this renal arteriole then passes the blood to glomerular capillary. This glomerular capillary then passes blood to efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole is connected to peritubular capillary network present around nephron. So it passes blood to peritubular capillaries. Now from peritubular capillaries, the blood enters inside renal venule. That means these capillaries unite to form venules. So the blood will enter inside a renal venule. From a renal venule, the blood enters into a renal vein, and renal vein removes the blood from kidney, takes out blood from kidney. So blood always enters inside kidney through renal artery and it exits through renal vein. Blood supply to kidney or renal blood flow. Blood enters inside kidney through renal artery. This artery divides to form renal arteriole. These arterioles are called efferent arterioles. This afferent arterioles enters into glomerular capillaries. These capillaries unite to form efferent arteriole. From efferent arteriole, the blood then enters into peritubular capillary network. This peritubular capillaries are those capillaries which surrounds the nephron. From this peritubular network, now these capillaries unite to form renal venule. Through venule, now blood enters into renal vein. Through renal vein, it exits from kidney. J-G apparatus. Some smooth muscle cells of the wall of afferent arteriole are modified in such a way that their sarcoplasm is granular. These cells are called J-G cells. In each nephron, beginning part of DCT makes contact with the efferent arteriole of same nephron. Cells in the wall of DCT in this region are packed more densely than those in other region of DCT. This is called macula densa. Macula densa and the J-G cells together forms J-G apparatus, that is juxtaglomerular apparatus. Function of J-G apparatus. It plays an important role in blood pressure regulation within kidney. That means it helps to control the blood pressure. So students, today we studied the details of LS of kidney, structure of nephron, types of nephrons, functions of nephrons, blood supply to kidney, juxtaglomerular apparatus, and function of juxtaglomerular apparatus. I hope you understood the topic. So let's stop here. We'll continue in the next lecture. Till then, take good care of yourselves. Thank you.